News 4 San Antonio at 5. We're here for you.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mandy Noel. We have a lot to get to, and we start with pressure tonight on South Texas Congressman Tony Gonzales. Party leadership is calling for him to drop out of his race for re-election. The calls to drop out follow Gonzalez's admission last night that he did have an affair with Regina Santos Aviles, the woman who later took her own life. Notably, they're not calling for him to resign, and there are big questions about where things will go from here. News 4 San Antonio's Taylor Wartenby is live with the latest.
News 4 is pressing for answers on several questions, including the most basic, will Gonzales drop out? We've reached out to the congressman, but he hasn't responded. There's also the question of what discipline he could face from the House Ethics investigation that could likely take some time before we know that.
I made a mistake, and I had a lapse in judgment, and there was a lack of faith. And I take full responsibility for those actions.
Gonzales, representing Texas's 23rd district, publicly acknowledged an affair with former staffer Regina Santos Aviles during an interview on the Joe Pags show. Santos Aviles later died by suicide.
I look forward to the ethics committee starting an investigation. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to provide all the facts and all the details that lead to exactly what occurred in the entire situation.
GOP leadership is calling on Congressman Gonzales to withdraw from his re-election bid and directly address the allegations, citing the seriousness of the matter. Professor John Taylor from UT San Antonio Political Science Department says the GOP leadership is asking Gonzales to withdraw, not resign, which is a big difference.
Withdrawing from the race means he's just not running in 26. It means he keeps his House seat until January 27th. This is very important to Speaker Johnson and President Trump because we're talking about a razor-thin Republican majority already.
But what happens with the Ethics Committee completing their investigation?
We definitely suspect that there was at least some form of at least possibly some forms of criminal activity related to the payoffs or the alleged payoffs and the major increases in salary for the staffer. So, yeah, it still needs to go on.
Regardless of if Gonzales drops out or not, he would still face the possibility of a civil lawsuit by Santos Aviles' husband and whatever disciplinary action the House Ethics Committee could levy against him. We again reached out to the Congressman Tony Gonzales and have not heard back. Reporting live in Taylor Wartenby, News 4 San Antonio.
Thanks, Taylor. And on X today, Gonzalez' challenger in the runoff, Brandon Herrera, thanked Speaker Johnson and House leadership for holding Gonzalez accountable. Texas Republican Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz also took to social media. She calls Gonzalez' actions unacceptable and says he should step down from all leadership roles. Gonzales also made claims, several of them in his interview with Joe Pags, about police reports, the timeline of these allegations, and the political impacts. We spoke with attorneys for Adrian Aviles. Tonight at 6, we'll have reaction to the congressman's admission and the legal action they could pursue. Another major developing story today, leaders in the Republican Party are calling for South Texas Congressman Tony Gonzales to drop out of this year's election. Republican leadership, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, says Gonzales should abandon his re-election effort after he admitted to having an affair with a woman who later took her own life. But they stopped short of saying he should resign. After months of speculation, Congressman Gonzales acknowledged an affair with a staffer in an interview on YouTube with Joe Pags. It came one day after he was sent to a runoff election and a House ethics investigation was announced. We've been requesting an interview about this for months. Gonzales made several claims about police reports, the political timing of the allegations, and more. The News 4 I-Team's Jordan Elder joins us with how attorneys for that staffer's family are responding.
We're told that Adrian Aviles now feels a sense of relief that the congressman has acknowledged the affair. It was Adrian's wife, Regina, who has been at the center of all this. She's the staffer involved in the affair who later died by suicide.
Was there a relationship with this young lady who was working in your office?
In an 18-minute interview with Joe Pags, Congressman Tony Gonzales acknowledged an affair with his staffer, Regina Santos Aviles, after he called the rumors untruthful in November.
It's also important to know all the details and all the facts. I will say there's a whole lot more to this story. I want to present all the facts and all the details.
There are no more facts to this story that will affect or alter the reality that he had a sexual relationship with a subordinate.
That's attorney Bobby Barrera, who is representing Regina's husband, Adrian Aviles. He says the facts are already clear. Aviles released messages between Gonzales and his wife, showing the congressman asking for photos and asking sexual questions. But when he was asked directly about the texts,
were those real?
I'll let the investigation play out and share all the different details on it.
If those are the facts he wants to come out, maybe we can help him and get those facts out so that people can see who Tony Gonzales really is.
Gonzales also raised questions about Aviles seeking Regina's death benefits and a letter sent after her death, which he called blackmail and a shakedown. Barrera says that money was recoverable under the Congressional Accountability Act and that Gonzales is deflecting.
This is what Tony keeps pointing to attempt to take away the focus on him and to put the focus somewhere else.
And then there was this statement.
Facts are, I hadn't spoken with Ms. Santos since June of 2024.
Gonzales has consistently praised Santos Aviles' work, but he says the two hadn't spoken in more than a year before her death. Barrera says that's an admission and why his client was looking into a sexual harassment lawsuit.
Well, that's the retaliation that she was receiving. That's the beginning of the end of her career as a result of Tony's sexual relationship with her.
Gonzales also pointed to the Uvalde police report about Regina's death, saying no one is talking about it. Gonzales is not mentioned in this report, and it says police found surveillance video showing Regina setting herself on fire. We did bring this to you, and it took us months to get it because the Uvalde Police Department and the Attorney General had been blocking it. This is our article. We got the report 10 days ago, which means that you got this information 10 days ago. This is over on our website if you would like to see it. For the News 4i team, I'm Jordan Elder.
House Republican leadership released a joint statement today calling for the Ethics Committee to act expeditiously. They want the congressman to withdraw from this race for re-election. So far, Gonzales has not budged.
I look forward to the Ethics Committee starting an investigation. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to provide all the facts and all the details that lead to exactly what occurred in the entire situation.
If we're talking about not running for re-election, now he's got to figure out now what kind of job he's going to have after he leaves Congress. But more importantly, he's now still facing allegations.
UT San Antonio Political Science Chair John Taylor says if Gonzales does withdraw, the Ethics Committee will still investigate allegations of criminal activity against him, which could lead to a civil lawsuit or criminal indictment. We want to know what you think. We are asking today, should Representative Gonzales resign after admitting to the affair? 78% of you at this point say yes. If you want to weigh in, just scan the QR code on your screen.
Texas Congressman Tony Gonzales says he will no longer seek re-election. He is dropping out of the race because other Republicans have urged him to do so after he admitted this week on a podcast to having an affair with a former staffer. News 4 broke the story last night about him stepping down. Gonzales says that he will finish out his current term, but he will not be in the runoff with Brandon Herrera in May. This week, the congressman told podcast host Joe Pags that he did have an affair with Regina Santos Aviles. She killed herself last year by setting herself on fire. A House Ethics Committee is now investigating if Gonzales was engaged in inappropriate sexual conduct.
I look forward to the Ethics Committee starting an investigation. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to provide all the facts and all the details that lead to exactly what occurred in the entire situation.
That investigation will continue despite him no longer seeking re-election, and it could lead to a civil lawsuit or a criminal indictment.
Her husband, Adrian Aviles, from whom she was separated at the time of her death, released messages between the congressman and his wife. It revealed that the congressman requested photos and asked her sexual questions.
No more facts to this story that will affect or alter the reality that he had a sexual relationship with a subordinate.
During the Joe Pags interview, the congressman raised questions about Aviles seeking his wife's death benefits. He also spoke about a letter sent to him after her death, calling it blackmail and a shakedown.
This is what Tony keeps pointing to attempt to take away the focus on him and to put the focus somewhere else.
Congressman Gonzales also pointed to the Uvalde police report about Santos Alvilez's death, saying he was not mentioned in it and that no one is talking about it. Well, we reported on it weeks ago, and it stated police found surveillance video showing Regina setting herself on fire. Now, that police report was not readily available to the public because the city of Uvalde and the Attorney General were blocking it.